As we come to the end of 2023, we want to share with all of you who follow our news from the Terra Santa through our websites and mainly through the 50 TV channels around the world, some of the year's major news. TSN is produced in 10 languages and aired on 50 TV channels in America, South America, Europe and the Middle East. From January to December 2023, we covered celebrations at shrines, archaeology, current news, culture, events, pilgrims, ecumenism, interreligious dialogue and faith, and so on. In 2023, we followed the liturgical calendar in order to actualize the richness of celebrations in these places where salvation events took place. Of particular importance among the custody's activities is the education and formative one that reaches out to the local population and to lay and religious people from all over the world. With regular news, we have told about the various events in the Holy Land. We also followed the various archaeological initiatives. In our Good Friday collection specials, the connection between all Christians around the world and the holy places. In the gaze of the custers of the Holy Land, the faces of the friars in Syria. In the words of Brother Francesco Patton, the experience of meeting with the friars in that area who welcome people affected by the earthquake. Cyprus, the island of Barnabas, Paul, Lazarus, and an important sea route of early Christian voyages, still continues to host major events. After the visit of Pope Benedict XVI in 2010 and Pope Francis in 2021, it was the site of the Rooted in Hope Symposium from April 20th to the 23rd, 10 years after the publication of the post-synodal apostolic exhortation Ecclesia in the Middle East. The 12th Latin American Congress of Commissioners of the Holy Land was held in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The Congress was attended by 21 Franciscans from Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, Bolivia, Chile, Honduras, Colombia, Guatemala, Spain and Paraguay. From Jerusalem to Rome with the gaze of St. Peter. On September the 30th, 2023, on the Parvis of St. Peter's Basilica, Pope Francis celebrated the ordinary public consistory for the creation of 21 new cardinals. Among the cardinals created were His Beatitude Pier Battista Pizzaballa, Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, and His Eminence Claudio Gugerotti, Prefect of the Dicastery for the Oriental Churches. Franciscan marches in Lebanon, Syria, Galilee, and Jordan. Impact. This is the title of the Lebanese edition of the Franciscan March held at the end of August. 65 Lebanese young people set out and for just 4 days left everything behind to enter into dialogue with the Lord. 125 young people left their daily lives behind to seek the Lord Jesus during the 9th Franciscan March held in Syria from September the 5th to the 11th. On the paths of Galilee in search of God between the plains and the mountains, the hustle and bustle and the good things of life recede, and in nature the voice of the Lord is heard. The hearts of the young people participating in the Franciscan March burned, and their eyes were open to the path of truth and justice. Today with Me in Paradise is the theme chosen for the 9th Franciscan March held in Jordan. It was a unique human, physical and spiritual experience lived by about 100 young people from different Jordanian cities and villages. Among them were also some Iraqi immigrants. October the 7th, 2023 will be a hard day to forget in the Middle East. This is the starting day of a new war that has claimed the lives of thousands of innocent civilians. Church action in the Holy Land has been immediate, with numerous initiatives for peace. The leaders of the Holy Land churches present in Jerusalem together with many faithful of different rites and denominations, celebrated a vigil for peace at the Holy Land High School, in which they prayed, meditated, and invoked peace. Praying the Stations of the Cross in Jerusalem is an experience that immerses us in the mystery of Christ. During the Stations of the Cross last October the 27th, in communion with Pope Francis and the Universal Church, they implored from God the gift of peace for the Holy Land. All Christians in the world are praying. Those who are believers, those who are Christians, and also non-Christians. Because this right here is the center of our hope. Because the way of the cross leads to new life, to resurrection, to hope. However, I think that in these moments, the ones that are left to us, the most important thing is only one word: prayer. Because prayer brings us to our soul. We put ourselves in the hands of God, who never abandons us, never abandons his children.
Non abbandona mai I suoi figli.
The children and young people of the Holy Land also called for peace. The meeting was held at the Holy Land High School in Jerusalem, an educational institute of the custody of the Holy Land. The school hosts hundreds of students, offering them an all-round education to prepare them, above all, to face the most important challenge: building peace in a land that is filled with conflict.
Sono secoli che noi qui in Terra Santa cerchiamo di portare lo spirito di San Francisco.
We have been trying to bring the spirit of Saint Francis and the evangelical spirit of peace here in the Holy Land for centuries. The way we try to educate for peace is first of all to educate for mutual acceptance, for coexistence. In our schools, generally, Christians and Muslims live together. In the Magnificat music school, Christians, Jews and Muslims. What we try a little bit to put into practice, if we want to put it in more current terms, is the spirit of Pope Francis's encyclical Brothers All, trying to cultivate friendship between children and young people who are also of different religions, even of different ethnicity, but who need to learn first of all to recognize each other.
Proprio imparare direi prima di tutto a riconoscersi reciprocamente.
Ogni giorno facciamo la preghiera semplice di San Francesco, ma oggi abbiamo
Every day we say the simple prayer of Saint Francis, but today we said a prayer for peace. As you saw, everyone participated, children from 3 up to 18 years old. Everyone against war, violence, hatred. Everyone said no more war, no more violence, no more blood. We want to live like children. We don't want this war. And we really hope that the Lord hears us. This is about all the children of the Holy Land, children from Gaza, from Jenin, from Nablus, from Tel Aviv. Because right now, all children are suffering a lot.
Di Nablus, di Tel Aviv, di tutti I bambini, perché in questo momento tutti I bambini stanno soffrendo molto.
Stop the war is the constant appeal of Pope Francis, who is in constant contact with the Holy Land.
Tra tutte le cose drammatiche che viviamo questi giorni, abbiamo avuto una consolazione, un conforto da parte del Santo Padre.
Among the dramatic things that we are experiencing these days, we had a consolation, a comfort from the Holy Father. He called me yesterday, and also the day before yesterday, to ask me how the situation was, but also to know about the parish community in Gaza. He expressed his closeness, concern. I thanked him for his appeal, that all war should cease, and that there should be peace, waiting for peace to come soon. He wanted to express his closeness. And yesterday, after sending his greetings and prayer, he called Father Yusuf, the sisters and the community who are refugees in the parish, and gave them a blessing. Truly a comfort. We know that the Holy Father's prayer represents the prayer of the whole Church. May this blessing heal all the wounds of this land.
Sappiamo che la preghiera del Santo Padre rappresenta la preghiera di tutta la Chiesa e la benedizione di Lui, e speriamo che veramente faccia sì che guarisca tutte le ferite di questa guerra.
More than 3 months have passed. Great suffering, destruction, fear. We have reached Christmas, but this year it was celebrated of a different form. Beyond the wall, the beginning of Advent in Bethlehem.
Compiremo un gesto che è un gesto molto importante, che è quel gesto di passare da Gerusalemme a Betlemme.
We make a very important gesture of going from Jerusalem to Bethlehem by crossing a wall. For me, this is the most important gesture. The crossing of the wall that we do when there are entrances is to continue to say that even a wall is crossable. We are not yet like the risen Jesus who went through the walls of houses, but it is a sign that sooner or later there will be no more walls.
Ma è un segno che prima o poi non ci saranno più mura.
The custos of the Holy Land had a less solemn entrance than usual this year, nevertheless. The presence of children from the Terra Santa school made his entrance equally festive and full of joy. Bethlehem is the city where the Word of God entered human history. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that the wall of enmity that separates men might be broken down. A sign of Christ's love that does not stop at the hardness of man is the entrance of the Patriarch of Jerusalem of the Latins, His Beatitude Cardinal Pierbattista Pizzaballa, right in Bethlehem on the morning of December the 24th, 2023.
We decided to keep the spirit of Christmas and to keep the status quo. So we are going to receive the Patriarch, and we are going to pray inside the masses, inside the midnight masses inside the church. Jesus Christ born in this city. So this message, this noble message, was distributed to the whole world. And it is a must for the international community to bring back this message to Bethlehem, because Bethlehem needs the real peace, and all Palestine as well.
Right now, with this war going on where beyond military and political issues there is a deep-seated, deep-rooted hatred in the populations that drives people further and further away, and that certainly is a sign of sin, a work of the devil with the consent of man. Because the other thing that needs to be said is that things can change. God can come into the life of the world. He can change life in the world, but he waits for our free yes. Without our free yes, God cannot enter the world. Jesus entered the world with Mary of Joseph's yes, and that changed the world. To manifest his closeness and love for this land and its inhabitants, Pope Francis sent the apostolic almoner, Cardinal Konrad Krajewski.
Quindi mi ha mandato qui soprattutto per pregare, per stare in silenzio.
He sent me here especially to pray, to be silent and pray. I have been doing this for a few days, also visiting orphaned children, poor families, especially from Jerusalem, from Bethlehem. Yesterday, after the whole day of rehearsals, I was also able to talk to the deputy priest of Gaza and other people, just to listen to them, to be able to then pass all this news that is not good but full of hope to the Holy Father.
Tutte queste notizie che non sono buone, ma piene di speranza al Santo Padre.
On this Christmas 2023, the Patriarch of Jerusalem of the Latins, Cardinal Pierbattista Pizzaballa, presided over the midnight Mass in St. Catherine's Church at the Grotto of the Nativity. The celebration ended with the procession of the baby Jesus to the place where, according to tradition, the Virgin Mary gave him to the light. A God who, by becoming a son, made himself and us brothers and sisters. We are here today to say yes to God, because the great violence in the world is not only social issues, but it is also a lack of God in the life of the world. So, yes to God, but saying yes to God also means recognizing the other as brother. In the words of the Patriarch of Jerusalem, the suffering, the drama that the parishioners of Gaza are experiencing touches his heart and everyone's in a very deep way.
Quando c'è qualcuno che soffre della tua famiglia, si è sempre...
When there is someone suffering from your family, you are always affected. And with the people in Gaza, even more so. I feel it more because I know them all, one by one. I have been in their homes that are now gone. I know their faces. I have baptized some of their children. So their suffering, the drama that they are going through, touches in a very deep way not only my heart, but also the hearts of so many people. One would like to do more. One would like to be there with them. But right now, we cannot.
Non solo il mio cuore, il cuore di tanti che è lacerato in questo momento. Si vorrebbe fare di più, si vorrebbe essere lì con loro, ma in questo momento non possiamo.
A gesture of solidarity to support the holy places and the needs of the brothers in the land of Jesus. We work together with the mission of the custody of the Holy Land. Our accounts can be found in the QR code.